And here we are, and it's certainly a pleasure, Laura, to bring you on Live Talk with Becky Chernek. And I know we have bunches who want to, hear from you, Laura, as far as first, let's go ahead. Let's talk a little bit about your background, right? And you're a licensed psychotherapist. And so if you could help us out with that and exactly what you do, that would be great to get things started.
Okay, I'm a licensed psychotherapist and a licensed marriage therapist. And the thing that really is my passion is the clinical and motivational and medical hypnotherapy. Because really, hypnotherapy is about what happens beneath the level of awareness. And that's what you want to talk about today. And so the psycho, or not too psychotherapy part of it is the conscious part. And the subconscious part is everything else. And the conscious part is driven by the subconscious. And that, I think, is what you're leading into this conversation for us today.
Well, I think some of it is because I know that some of my clients, associate friends, they really want to know more about this because, we're always struggling. We have these New Year resolutions and it's like, boy, we're excited. I know I am. I'm doing everything that I can. I know I'm trying to eat better, work out, do whatever I need to do for their new year in 2022. And I can't imagine I'm any different from a lot of the folks here, and they want to hear from you. They want to hear, how do I keep these resolutions intact? How does this whole thing work? How does it work to help me to manage that? So yeah, we're going to talk about this, and we're also going to talk about some other things that we talked about earlier. So let's first talk about that.
Okay, so we're talking about the resolutions, New Year's resolutions. Really what you're asking me is, how do I stick to a plan and make it a habit? Really what you're asking me is what everybody asks is, how do I make the New Year's resolutions stick? And the thing that confuses people is that they think, we all think, I'm part of they, okay? We all think that if I know how to do something, and I know what to do, it should be a straight line and I should be able to do it.
Right.
I know I should eat less. I know I should exercise, but knowing lives in one part of the mind and doing lives in the other part of the mind. And unless you can merge them, you're going to be back and forth. You're going to be in that yo-yo diet, or whatever it is that you're struggling and coming up against, you're going to be at odds with yourself about it. So the way that you can bridge the gap is by putting the conscious mind and the subconscious mind together on the same page. But most people, they don't realize that they're struggling against several things. Stories in their head that they tell themselves, conditioning, brain function, trauma, interpretations, all these things, to certain degrees, differences in different people contribute to how you get where you're going or why you're stuck.
And I think that's so important that we have a better understanding of how our minds work and the difference between what's conscious versus subconscious. And I'm going to go back to this conversation 20 some odd years ago. I don't know how long has it been since I've known you. My gosh, I've known you for a very long time. And I decided one day I was done with smoking cigarettes, and I'm like, there's got to be a way to do this. And I tried everything. I tried the patches. I just tried quitting, and it just wasn't happening. And I thought, well, what's the worst thing that could happen? I can bark like a dog or a chicken or whatever. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and call this Laura up and see what she's all about. And wow, I even had cigarettes in my car waiting for me. I don't know if you knew that or not, but I did, because I wasn't sure whether or not it was really going to work or not. So I came prepared to smoke when I left, and I didn't smoke. I haven't smoked since, which is, it's Cool. And I think for other things as well, for stress, for focusing, it just is a very powerful tool that I feel has got a bad name or a bad reputation.
Well, let me explain things because that's what you said you'd like. And you came because you wanted to stop smoking.
Mhm.
And for you, because people learn in different ways, some people learn very directly, they're more feelingful. Other people, they're more analytical, they're more skeptical. Everybody has a different way that they learn. And mostly what we're talking about is if I talk to you in the way that you learn and remind you of the things that you want to be reminded of and make the message the most um, powerful, important, significant, loudest, not in volume, but in impact. If I can take that message and put it in the front of your mind through your emotions and your imagination, then that's going to take you forward. So we all think we make decisions with our logical mind. I'm going to stop smoking. And you mean it when you say it. You said, I tried a million times. And I'm right there with you because I used to smoke too. The conscious mind says, I'm going to do this. But the subconscious mind is the one that is directing everything. So it's the smallest part of the mind is the conscious mind. It's driven by the emotions, the expectations, the imagination. And you must tap into those pieces in order for you to get the results. And so what did we have to do? You may not remember, but because I have this school of hypnotherapy and I teach people, I know exactly what has to happen. Do you remember what happened for you? Can you recall it? Or you just say, I felt relaxed and then I didn't smoke? Do you remember anything else?
Yeah, I do remember a few things,
What do
and
you
I
remember?
know that we cut through a lot of the associations that I had with smoking, and a lot of that. There were so many. There were so many associations, especially when I was on the phone with my boss. I had to smoke. If I was drinking a cup of coffee, I gotta have a cigarette. There were many. If I'm having a drink, oh, I've got to have a cigarette. So it was like a lot of these associations I had to cut through. And so one of the things that I do remember you saying is, well, when you want a cigarette, do it in your dreams. Like do it in my dreams? What? Yeah, just kind of like do it in your dreams, Becky. Like, okay. And you know what? There might have been one or two times maybe I was so frustrated that I did it in my dream, but smoked in my dreams. So that's kind of what I remember. I know we had a couple sessions, and as we went, we just chopped off all these associations that had everything to do with why I love smoking cigarettes so much.
Well,
Because you kept,
I
what is
don't
it that you
remember
like?
that.
I'm sorry. Do you remember
I
that?
don't remember the smoking in the dreams, but if it worked, that's good. But what you're saying is it's about association. That's the thing that stops us is that you get in the car and you have unintentionally conditioned sucking the poison in while being in the car. And all the habits that we have, or not all of them, but a lot of them are tied to a meaning that we give them. And with, if we're talking about cigarettes in particular, or drinking or
Or alcohol,
anything,
yeah.
it's about relaxation. It's about taking a break. And so what we do is we use the imagination, which apparently we did it with dreams. I don't remember that part.
He was. I don't think I made that up.
But I'll tell you another thing that's very interesting. What I say and what a person hears may be a little different. And what a person says and what I hear may be a little bit different. And that's conscious level stuff. You know, that's the difference between what causes misunderstandings in life, is that I may say something and you may hear something else, and it's what's underneath the surface. And that's why when we come back for the next visit, I always ask, what do you remember? What do you never want me to say again? What was helpful? Because this is a, it's a mutual effort. I'm using your imagination, filling your mind with things that you want for your life, so that becomes familiar and automatic to you, rather than the old habit. We're building it in your mind, and everything happens in the mind long before it ever happens in life. And you know that because you and I go back a long time to a whole other way of looking at the mind, which is probably—
Don't give away my secrets here now. No. But we do. And it's so important that you take time out and understand that there are ways to address the concerns that you may have or your growth, and how to utilize that. And I feel like that is so important. And so once we did the sessions, I was like, this is amazing. I feel better. I'm much more relaxed. I'm not as stressed out. I'm like, I think I can just come here weekly just to just to enjoy some focus time. And I feel that in of itself is major important as well. Yeah, so we did. And I still think that we were onto something. Definitely believe that we were onto something with Seasonic. That definitely, that's our name. And so other than the alcohol, which is a lot, and losing weight and smoking, some of the associates might be looking at this and going, wow, wait a minute here. Can I get better at work? Can I get more focused at what I'm doing? Can I see a higher performance? There was one time, if you don't remember, when I was training on my workshops, and we were actually helped me create, you design together, and it helped others to see the benefit behind doing the interview. So you want to talk about that a little bit? And actually, you got a few phone calls recent, and actually they contacted me and they said, hey, I would like to get some more of those videos, tapes, etc. And how can I get a hold of Laura? So talk to us a little bit about that.
So everything happens in the mind before it ever happens in life. You have an idea, and then you either negate it or you strengthen it. You either fuel it or you dissolve it. And self-talk, if you go into an emotion with it, then you're either doing positive self-hypnosis or negative self-hypnosis. Everyone has gifts and talents, and they have areas that they can work on. So we speak about you and me because we're the ones in the room right now. And you're very comfortable in front of the camera. You're in front of the people kind of person. And I am a behind the scene kind of person. So the thought of me standing in front of a room, what happens in my mind, it pulls up anxiety, fear, second guessing myself. Now, the mind can't tell the difference between what's real and what's vividly imagined. If you're mad at someone, all you have to do is think about an argument with someone you had years ago, and you're going to feel mad, and your blood pressure is going to rise, and your heart's going to race, because the mind and body are connected, and what you imagine has a lot of power. And all through the day, we're using that. So If I want to be more comfortable speaking, if I could practice it in my mind, and there are tools that I use specifically when I work with people or when I work with myself to help build the comfort. If the other thing that happens in your business, it happens in every business, because I've worked with a lot of business, and people are people, right? There are people who are detail oriented and they like to get things done. And there are people who like to shoot from the hip, and that's how they operate. And everything in business involves being able to follow up, follow through. Even the things that we may like still involve things that we don't like. Things that we're good at still involve things that we're not so good at. And so if we can train the mind by rehearsing it in a way that our defenses aren't reacting, then we can move ourselves into a higher level in that area. So whether it's greeting a person, being able to feel less awkward, more confident, whether it's being able to do consistently the things that we need to do, it doesn't matter what we're talking about, because it's all the same thing. It's about what is blocking me, what are my beliefs around it, what is the story that's running in my head, and then can somebody help me to quiet that story and in its place put a much more uplifting story. And that is the power of clinical or motivational or integrative hypnotherapy. You hear what I say, but because you're in a receptive state, because your analyzing ability is a little quieter, the resistance drops, and it just makes it easier. And so you could picture like driving in the car and drinking water, coming home and
Drink my water.
getting those notes done, right?
Yeah.
You could picture it. You could feel the good feeling because I'm rehearsing it with you in your mind, which is different than you rehearsing it with yourself, because when you rehearse it in your own mind, there's like, oh, what about that? Oh, every time I did that, this happened. So it's practice where I'm going to slip in a way where you're comfortable and help you become more comfortable. And that's how it works.
Okay. So we talked too about this mass hypnosis. And I know we got to be careful because how we go about this whole conversation, but I know several people have some interest in this mass hypnosis versus mass psychosis. And I'm just going to ask you, go ahead, tell us, what is the difference between the two? What's going on here? Because there's a lot of talk in the media, of this mass psychosis versus, and there is, well, what do we talk here, Becky? Mass psychosis, because that's different than mass hypnosis. So I guess, I don't know. So you're it.
All right. So I think that this year there are a lot of made up terms, not just in my arena, but in the whole world. There are words and there are new meanings for things. And I'm not so sure that it's really based in what it once was. So let me say that. So psychosis, that's when you've seen on TV and you've seen people who talk to themselves or believe that there's somebody there, that you can't see them and I can't see them, but they have a belief system that there's someone there, and they call it psychotic. The person is having a psychotic episode. They're believing something is real and it's not real. That's psychosis, in my understanding clinically of what was. Now, Today, there's a whole other meaning to everything. We'll get there.
Okay.
Let's go to hypnosis. That's another thing that's not really well understood. So I'm going to distinguish between the state of hypnosis and using hypnotherapy. Okay, so the state of hypnosis is a state of overload where the analyzing ability steps aside. And you could be relaxed and enter hypnosis. It's the state between awake and asleep. It's a suggestible state where it's kind of like you're with me, but you're not. It's like sitting in front of the TV in that place and I'm talking to you, and then all of a sudden I'm saying, Becky, Becky, and you don't think you were sleeping. You say, I'm not sleeping. I heard everything. But it's that space. And that state is natural. Every single one of us go through that state every morning and every night before we fall asleep, just as we wake up in the morning. There's even a name for it, hypnopompic and hypnagogic, because it's a real state. Now, when we're in this state, it could be used positively or negatively. It could be used intentionally or unintentionally. So the book that is just about to be published that I wrote is called Accidental Hypnosis. That's what's going on right now.
Okay.
But that happens to us throughout our life. So when we use this overloaded state, we're all in an overloaded state. Why? Because things are out of control. What was normal isn't normal. There's chaos. We don't know if we're going to get gas for the car, if there's going to be food to eat, if we're going to be in a communist country, if we're going to be free,
right.
If people who don't get shots are going to poison us, or people who get shots are going to poison us. It doesn't matter whether we're on this side or that side. We're all afraid.
Mm-hmm.
And we have been fed information every day for the last year to two about we're in trouble, we're in danger, you could die. And what happens is we get so overloaded that we can't analyze. We can't say to ourselves, hey man, I'm exercising, I'm sleeping, I'm taking vitamins, and I'm strong. You know, my immune system's strong and I can manage this. When we don't have the wherewithal, because there are too many things that are weighing us down. And when there are too many things that are weighing us down, and then we combine that with a suggestion. So I gave you a suggestion in this hypnotic state that you no longer care to smoke. Like you don't even want it anymore. And maybe you used to like it, but you don't really even like it anymore. In fact, it is completely unappealing. And what you really want is a clean breath. And I gave you those messages that were for your benefit over and over and over again. And those messages were accepted. Well, this is the same thing. We're getting messages over and over and over again that this person's bad, that those people are bad, that those people are dangerous, whoever they are, that we're not safe, and that whoever we think our political person is, whether it's this side or that side, whether it's this medical person or that medical person, doesn't matter. We're listening over and over and over again to the same message for the purpose. I mean, the media, I'm going to talk about media for a minute.
Okay.
But
let's just blow this up.
We're going to blow it up.
Let's blow it up.
The purpose of the media is for eyeballs and ears. Their purpose is ratings, and drama is ratings. So if Yahoo sends me an email, oh, the death toll is so high today, it's higher than it's ever been, then I'm going to, my subconscious mind, for survival's sake, is going to click that thing because I have to protect myself. Now, I don't realize that's what's going on, but they do. And so they're drawing me in. Now somebody comes into my office and they sneeze. So everyone's dying over here. Now someone's sneezing in my office and oh my God, I'm going to die. And that is what I think you're calling mass hypnosis and mass psychosis. It has the elements of repetition. It has fear. It creates anxiety and belief. I could tell you the same thing over and over and over again. When I say it enough, it becomes familiar. And if you trust me, then you're not going to doubt me. If I have credibility, then, and I say, you need this, or you better stay away from this, because you have trust with me, you're going to believe it. And you're not going to do your own research. Maybe you are only going to do the research that backs that up. And I'm going to do the research that backs up whatever I say. And we're all stuck in that place. And so that to me is what's going on.
And I love it. So here's the thing. I know that you have a program and it's on Unstuck. And I think your work, and I appreciate your work. And so anytime I can lead anyone to that is I'm all in. So I want you to talk to us about your program, but I also want to say this, that here I go. You know me, I'm thinking maybe we also do, and we have been talking about it. So I don't think I'm talking out of school here, but I think we're going to be talking more about customizing something for our automotive dealer friends and associates and that sort of thing that I think would be really ideal. And so we're going to talk through that some more, and we'll be coming out and announcing that. And so, but for now, tell us about this program, what you got going.
Okay, so let me separate two things. Bottom line for business is more business. And bottom line for people is to excel. And if people could excel and they could get comfortable and build confidence, then they're going to do a better job. And that's going to, increase sales. And there you go.
There we go.
So that's that. And in this program, which is called Getting Unstuck, we have things that interfere. We have the subconscious mind. We have belief systems. So it doesn't matter in this program. The first program was self-hypnosis, and I was teaching a person how to understand how their mind works and what they're really doing and how they could use their mind to help themselves. And the next level is, you can only take yourself to a certain depth, but I could take you to a deeper place because I understand brain function interferes, the past interferes, conditioning interferes. So it doesn't matter what we're talking about. We have to address all of those things. And that is what this program is going to do. It's going to address what are the things that get in the way? What can we do about it? So I want you to have the information from the conscious mind, because you have to understand the conscious mind. And then I want to support your goals by reinforcing the vision and the steps through the subconscious mind. And that's what that program is about. And that program is for 4 weeks.
Okay.
And it's on Mondays, and it starts on Monday the 10th. So very soon.
Well, there you go. No time like right now. It's like next week. Let's go. Let's make it happen. So I don't know, let me see if I can do this or not on the fly, but what is your contact number and how they can?
You could just email me.
Okay, let's do email here.
At Laura@lauratemin.com.
Laura Temin.
Laura@lauratemin.com.
Okay. Do I have that right? Laura@lauratemin.com. Do I have that right or do I have it wrong?
You do.
Well, I have it at Laura Temin. Do I have that right?
Yep.
I do? Okay. You know, on the fly and stuff, you're asking me to do a whole heck of a lot here, Laura. But this is a good way for everyone to hook up with you. And so you do these programs. You also do one-on-one consultation. Is that correct? So talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
And then your phone's going to be ringing off the hook because they're all going to want to know more about you.
Well,
Becky uses you. I want to use you.
I'd love to hear more about it. It's all what a person needs, and there are lots of things. Everyone has goals. Everyone has stuff that gets in the way. It's just human. You can't be alive and not have it. And so we have personal goals, we have professional goals, and we have habits, and we have addictions. We have brain function, and so I help people with their marriages. I help people with their business goals or personal goals. It's pretty broad. I don't know. I could say weight loss and sleep and anxiety and trauma and letting go of the past. And, you know, if there were affairs that you need to let go of, or there were, you know, you laugh, but
I'm not laughing. I think that's important. I think so, Laura. I think everything that you do is.
It's very painful for a lot of people because they want to put things back together, but they can't let go of things. And it's trauma. And there's trauma in so many ways, but there are also wonderful things that we want to increase in our life, like getting fit and trim and getting along with our family and going to the next level in our businesses. So anyway, I offer a free 15-minute phone consult. So, you know, nobody has to spend money to determine if I'm a good fit for them.
Well, I know that you're a good fit, period. And I know that I'm not going to give up all my secrets, but you're definitely one of them for 2022. See, I've got my water here.
Good job.
I'm doing a good job. I don't want to disappoint you, Miss Laura. We definitely want to be your spokesperson. So we definitely want to go ahead and bring you back on to live talk with Becky Chernek. And again, I want to thank you again for being here with us and talking us through how this whole thing works, because it is a very interesting topic.
It's very interesting. It's very fascinating. So just remind yourself that you're being inundated with all of these fear things, and you've got to kind of pull yourself out of that. I did a free hypnosis webinar on this because people really needed it. I'm not sure if I recorded it. If I did, I'll share it with you, but I'll have to look it up. And I don't mean to be rude,
but I know you got to get okay. Well, all right. So here's one thing, and then I'll let you go. I know that you also work with cancer patients, so I can imagine, and you've done a great job with them as well. But okay, to next time, definitely going to get you back on. I'm sure everybody's going to have a bunch of questions. And again, I want to thank you again for being here and working and talking us through this whole thing. And so till next time, here we go. Let's go. See you. Thank you.